I grew up around the world, which also meant that I also grew up on the internet. And so I have a huge passion for online communities, and to this day, it still impacts how I approach my work. We've really met and formed relationships with so many people off the internet. And to this day, things like communities on social, about how the best strategies for social media, communities for LinkedIn and how to promote and accelerate content, these still impact my day-to-day work. And I have this support and network of an amazing online community behind me that helps to propel my work and advance my work. So we talk about Badoo as the place to date honestly, really as a place where people can truly represent who they really are and what they're really looking for. And we believe that open and honest conversation can help accelerate the ways people build and form relationships online. So one of the biggest things that we did as a brand, really in the moment of Gay Pride that happened in June, was really to create a campaign around allyship, which is around really enabling people to understand how they, who may not be part of the LGBTQ plus community, could actually support and be an ally to this otherwise overlooked part of society. And so these were things like education that we provided to a lot of our community members. It was doing a partnership with Gay Times here in the UK to really support their Amplifund. And a lot of it is really enabling our users and our community to really connect with our value system around open and honest conversation and really find those opportunities to help support otherwise overlooked communities. It is a tremendous crisis that is not only happening here in the United Kingdom, but all around the world. We see this in Spain, we see it in France, we even see it in emerging economies like Brazil. And so generally what we are trying to take an approach on is a similar open and honest conversation where men can actually learn about the best ways in which they can relieve themselves from the expectations that modern men might have and really listen to themselves around who they really are and what they're really looking for. So we're preparing a campaign right now for Male Mental Health Week starting in October 10th to work with nonprofit organizations, but also work with those organizations to help educate our community, and particularly a community of men, around how they can actually go out and form relationships by relieving themselves of the expectations that modern men have, to listen to themselves and what they're really looking for and have those better conversations. So it's a mix of content marketing as well as nonprofit partnerships and support. You know, there is obviously a tremendous amount of attention with the Me Too movement around, really where women stand in this conversation about male masculinity. And I think, unfortunately, this is somewhat of a red herring for the actual true crisis that men are facing. Of course, we need to address the problems that women have in the world today. And we believe there's been a tremendous amount of progress, and we will continue to be supportive and to be advocates in that space. However, the part of male mental health that is not really being addressed, I would say, is actually removed from this question of where do women stand, but actually just between men and among men. And really, a lot of brands, I would sort of point to Gillette and their recent big ad, by involving this conversation of Me Too, they miss the broader and bigger issue that is actually happening within male mental health, which is really this tremendous amount of self-doubt that men feel, this inability to express that self-doubt to one another, and ultimately this sort of downward spiral that people might go into of self-doubt as they look towards the cultural expectations that they've been raised with, whether it's by their parents, whether it's by the media, whether it's by ultimately social media and the image economy around men. And so that conversation is something that we really hope to illuminate for men and ultimately enable them to have better conversations amongst one another and ultimately as they go out to try and form relationships. So the big trend that's of course happening right now is how do we inject humanity back into our technology experiences? And one of the reasons that I really love working in the space of dating is because we actually get you out there into the world to go back into the real world and form relationships. However, technology needs to continue to act as a tool to facilitate those types of experiences. So an example of something that we try and do to help equip our users with better ability to form those connections are things like better questions when you're starting a conversation with someone. So rather than just sending a little, hey, hi, what's up? Hey, beautiful, whatever it is, really trying to educate people on how they can actually form a better conversation. So our most successful question that we've offered to our users that has had the highest response rate is, so tell me, has a stranger ever changed your life? And suddenly people are equipped with this amazing power to actually have very real and human conversations in a way that they may not otherwise have been possible, and enables them to get back out into the world, form great connections, and really ultimately change the trajectory of their lives. So ultimately it's about injecting humanity back into those technology experiences and really rethinking about the way we form those relationships online. So for me, all great creative campaigns start from the brand. And really, brand is about a set of values that we have about how the world should actually interact with one another. And so for us, as we talk about this notion of date honestly, we really believe that openness and honesty are the fundamental values by which we are going to put out creative campaigns into the world. And so as we assess the landscape of cultural challenges, societal challenges that might be out there in the world, we are constantly thinking about our starting point for how we think about those creative campaigns. That being said, data-driven insights are fundamental to how we push that creative idea forward. So while we might have some intuition about a challenge that we want to go address as a marketing organization, ultimately our ability to really connect it down to the user in a way that resonates with them, that connects with them, that's where data-driven insights really helps to accelerate our ability to go deliver that message. And again, data-driven insights can also be inspiring, right? The fact that that question, has a stranger ever changed your life? Because that was our most successful question, it's something we know is going to work and resonate out in the world. So it allows us to act as a source of not only inspiration for our campaigns, but ultimately a way to push that idea forward and ultimately refine the creative work into a mode that ultimately lands, connects, and is deeply empathized by our end user. Apart from some of the work that we're going to do in the space of male mental health, really what we're looking at around the world are how we illuminate the amazing people that actually reside on our community. A core fundamental belief that we have at Badoo is that everyone deserves connection. And ultimately we find that when we're looking at the landscape of what is shown as aspirational people in the world of dating, it tends to be sort of a one-size-fits-all view of what this person should look like, or how influential they might be, or how wealthy they should be, when in reality every single person that you pass on the street has a past, has a background, has an aspiration, has a desire. So we're investing a lot into content marketing, into really illuminate the stories of really everyday people who are as diverse as you can imagine, with all types of pasts, with all types of aspirations, all types of backgrounds. I'm really excited to continue to show the world this amazing community of 425 million people that we have on our platform, because ultimately it allows you to realize that your own internal struggles are not so unique, and that you share this common experience of other people all around the world. So really excited to do that with lots of interviews, lots of video content, and really just continue to show a more diverse and inclusive view of what people really look like in this world of dating.